I'm Plami, and in this episode of Plami's Thoughts On, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts to the second episode of the second season of The Walking Dead World Beyond. And honestly, this might have been the best written episode so far, or the one with the most interesting content. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. For me personally, it's not the most exciting or my personal favorite episode. Um, that will be some of the episodes of the second half of the first season, like the ones which feature Percy heavily. Maybe we're gonna get some really cool episode like that in the second season, which is probably gonna become my favorite. But right now, that's the case. I just haven't really thought about which is my favorite. But this one was actually a really entertaining episode, and it had actually a lot of plot. But just because of its tone, when I first watched it, I still wasn't the biggest fan of it. So I'm gonna be a little bit mixed in my review about it overall. But yeah, continuing from the last episode, we're still following mainly, pretty much only, no, it's mainly, because in most of the episode we're focusing on Iris and Hope and the characters around them, but we actually also finally see what's happening with Silas, which took a while, and it's taking even longer for us to get back to Elton and Percy, but at least it seems like we're gonna be getting with them next episode, so there's that. And also, now that I think about it, isn't next week when we get Fear the Walking Dead Season 7's first episode? Because that's gonna be very crazy when you think about it, because it's gonna be jam-packed for people, because next week we should be getting the final episode of the first part of Season 11 be released on TV. Then we get Episode 3 of World Beyond and Episode 2 of World Beyond on TV, and then Fear the Walking Dead on AMC Premiere as well. Damn, it's jam-packed. But yeah, I guess the way we're gonna be covering this episode, we're just gonna cover the separate parts when we focus on certain characters. So first we're gonna go with Iris, Felix, and Will. So in this episode, we have Iris talking to Felix and Will in the beginning of the episode, saying that she believes that the CRM were the ones who destroyed Omaha because they don't have a confirmation on it, only a speculation. And Felix apparently doesn't believe it, or at least he can't understand what they want to do with that. But I actually kind of have a little bit of a theory that I'm going to share with you guys. Because of certain things that we get in certain comment we hear from one character later on in the episode, like the chick who is Hope's father's girlfriend. She talks and questions Elizabeth Kubelik, the general, about when she's going to receive another batch of recently turned walkers for experimentation. And since this whole episode talks about what they're trying to do with the walkers and trying to find a cure and everything, I wonder if the reason why they killed all those people in Omaha and the campus colony, and I know it's a little bit far-fetched, but what if they killed them because they wanted a lot of recently turned people for experimentation? Because right now that's the only thing that I can buy, because as I said in my review for last episode, it is kind of like a Germ the Shark moment, and it's kind of unbelievable that anybody would be that willing to kill that many people, because it's not like it's the beginning of the outbreak where it's maybe like worth it to destroy one city to save the world from this outbreak. The outbreak is already happened, so there's no point in killing that amount of people. But if they've killed them because they want more fresh zombies, it's still kind of ridiculous, but I can at least kinda buy it. Mainly because I came up with this theory, but I can kinda buy it as a reason for why they killed that many people. But I don't know. Comment down below what you think about this theory. But yeah, so they have that discussion in the beginning of the episode, and They're also apparently were looking for a walker that looks similar to Will, so they can kind of trick the CRM into thinking that he died. That's something that, goddamn, this fucking universe has been doing quite a lot when you think about it. Fear the Walking Dead has been doing it a couple of times, and even did it recently in the last season, which I'm 100% sure was a reference to the main show, because there was actually a lot of references in season 6, like these kind of little references and tongue-in-cheek moments, which is why I recommend any Walking Dead fan to check out the 6th season of Fear the Walking Dead. It was fucking amazing. But in this case, I don't think it was a reference, it was just a smart strategy, you know. But it's kind of funny how everybody seems to have come up with this way of tricking people. Just dress a zombie like you and they'll think it's you, because they can't really confirm whether it is or not. And it also makes sense that they would do that, because this is a show that Gimpo is more involved with, and he was the one who kind of came up with this idea back in season 6 of the main show, so of course they would do this. So yeah, they end up tricking the CRM that he is dead. And I really like the scene in which General Kublik is talking with a CRM soldier about it. Because the way they trick the CRM is that they put him and the soldier that Iris killed at the end of last episode on kind of like a riverbank. But it's hard to get to, and it kind of makes me question how the fuck did Felix get the walker to that place anyway. But it's a hard to get to place, and as the soldier asks General Kublik about whether they should send somebody to retrieve the bodies, she says by the time they get there, the water would probably wash them away. But the way she just says, but we should try, as a way, as if the writers are saying, yeah, it's kind of contrived as a reason for why they believe that Will isn't dead now. But yeah, well, they're gonna try. They're probably just not gonna be able to get to the bodies on time. It's kind of like the writer justifying, as they were writing it, why it makes sense, you know. It was kind of funny to me. Although there was something weird about this episode with timeline-wise, because in one scene where Hope's father goes to talk to General Kublik about going on a search party to find his other daughter, because she's still out there, and apparently they know that she's still out there and alive. We see a CRM soldier, and if I'm correct, I think it's the CRM soldier that Iris killed at the end of last episode, but maybe it's not, I don't know, because we see another soldier and it seems to be very similar looking, like that soldier which she talks to when they're talking about Will's body looked very similar to that guy, so maybe it's not the same guy who died. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's two different guys, because we saw one guy when they were blowing up the walls at Omaha in last episode. And I think he was the guy who got murdered at the end of last episode. But the soldier in this episode might have been different. And it might have been the same soldier that we saw when Leo, Hope's father, was talking to Kublik. Whose name is actually Elizabeth. So I'm gonna go by Elizabeth going forward. But yeah, during that interaction between Leo and Elizabeth, it's revealed that not only did Huck intercept the communication between Hope and her dad on that side, but also the CRM as well intercepted it on Leo's side. So they actually never communicated properly. It was almost definitely vetted by the CRM, because I'm pretty sure they communicated with each other through that, but it was not... it was made sure by the CRM that it wasn't anything important or classified, so to speak. And she even warns him in a backhanded way that he shouldn't make more mistakes and go against the CRM. So I'm curious where that's going to go, because it seems like he's kind of growing wary of the CRM more and more. He's kind of going down the Will way, in a way. because Will kept pushing buttons and pushing and pushing and pushing and asking questions, and they were at one point done with him and wanted to kill him. And we've seen some cool shots from him in the trailer, so I'm curious if he's going to join Hope and Iris and everybody in rising against the CRM, which I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do. But again, I'm curious where exactly this season is going to end, because I have no expectations, because they're obviously not going to defeat the CRM in this series, because CRM is supposed to be the villains of the Rick movies whenever they happen. But they still gotta achieve some kind of victory in this series, otherwise it's gonna be very unsatisfying. So, we'll see. We'll see. Throughout the episode, we also get more of Hope and her being introduced to this CRM location, which it's still not clear whether this is like specifically a CRM base or it's more like kind of like the campus colony, because it seems like there's more people than simply CRM soldiers and scientists. It seems like there's just normal people, teenagers as well. So, yeah, I don't know. And throughout this episode, Hope gets a little tour of the facility by her father's girlfriend, who is also kind of like a CRM agent or a spy, so to speak, who is supposed to be keeping an eye on Hope's father and making sure that he does his job and everything. So she's doing that not out of the goodness of her heart, but she's doing it because of an ulterior motive. And we actually, during that tour, get a little bit more information about what the CRM is trying to do. They experiment on walkers by putting a certain device that we've seen in the trailers on them, which tracks their stem, their brain waves and everything. I mean, we don't really get that much information, but they're supposed to track them through that, and they're using those devices. But they're using those devices to track the walkers and learn about how they behave and what causes them to behave. They just use it to learn more information. And for some reason, at some point, they mentioned something about maybe infecting walkers with fungi as a way to make the walkers decay quicker. And my thought process during that was essentially that The Walking Dead is now a prequel to The Last of Us, if they actually do that. Although I genuinely wouldn't mind if there was some kind of like a variety to the walkers like that, like some infected by fungi or something. I think it could be interesting at least, but people are 100% gonna call it like a rip-off of The Last of Us, especially considering that a TV series based on The Last of Us is going to be coming out very soon at this point. Which, by the way, I'm gonna be checking it out, but I don't really have high hopes of liking it. For many reasons. Mainly because of the casting of certain characters, but also because, I mean, if you didn't know, I'm a bit of a contrarian. And if something seems to be very popular, not only do I genuinely not like it, but I also don't want to like it. So that puts even more pressure on me liking it, but I'll still give it a shot. I'll give it a shot in the first episode, and we will see how I'm gonna feel about it whenever that happens. But I'm getting a little bit sidetracked with this. During the tour that we get of the CRM facility, we also have a new character appear called Mason, with an actor who I fucking swear looks super familiar, but I've checked and it doesn't seem like he has been in anything that I know, or at least in a major role that would leave such an impact on me that I would actually remember him. So I think I just thought he looked familiar because he seems to have the pretty boy look to him, but he kinda flirts with Hope, I guess, and I wonder if they're gonna be building up a relationship with him or something. I don't know, because right now I just don't know what they're trying to do with this. Because in this episode in general we get quite a few introductions of characters, so I just don't know which ones are actually gonna matter in the end or not. But we'll see. I guess the ones who have connections to the main characters are probably gonna have longer and more impactful time on the show, but still, I don't know. I hope it's not just like a this episode thing or maybe a couple episodes kind of thing and it's just not a teen crush kind of thing, because why would you waste valuable time on this kind of stuff? Why? You already are a limited series. Focus on the cool stuff that people want to see, not on random teenage flirtations. But yeah, there's that. They flirt for a little bit, and it has there's a little bit of a funny scene there that I legitimately laughed out loud when I saw it, where Hope is kind of sneaking around and trying to find, I guess, rooms that she shouldn't be in. I'm not exactly sure what she was looking for, but she ends up going into like a cupboard or something, and that's when Mason shows up, and then she says that she wanted something from that place, saying that she wanted a mop, and he grabs the mop and he's ready to give it to her, and she mocks him by saying, geez, I don't really need a mop, I just wanted to see if you would do it, if you would give it to me. And that was really funny and kind of cute between them, so maybe we're actually gonna have a nice relationship between the two. I don't know. I haven't checked whether he is going to be a longer character, because whether he's going to be listed in other episodes, because it seems like the character of Indira, she seems to be listed to appear in more episodes going forward, but maybe that's just somebody editing it because they're unsure whether they will appear or not. But yeah, there's that. And from what I remember, there wasn't anything else major in the Iris and Hope part of the episode, but in the other part of the episode we also focused on Silas, finally, as I said. And at first it was a little weird because I thought that maybe they were gonna put him in the same facility as Hope, but apparently they're putting him in a different facility where he deals with killing walkers. Why would they not just simply kill him? I don't understand. But they do that, and they put him with a bunch of other, I guess, kind of rebellious teenagers. And they're led by actually kind of like an interesting character that seems like it's gonna be more important than one would think, because he ends up being revealed as Huck's boyfriend, I think, at least. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. He has some kind of connection with Huck, but yeah, I don't know. So he's taken to a facility where these teenagers end up cleaning the walkers in what is like supposed to be like a mass culling. The way this guy, this CRM guy, explains it is that what the CRM is trying to do is get a foothold in at least one state of the USA, the ones that they're in, aka New York. They're trying to clean this whole state from walkers so they can have a foothold to continue expanding going forward. Because it seems like the Civic Republic, I guess, is maybe not that big, or at least doesn't have a foothold in a whole state, because that would be a major thing compared to what we have seen so far from the Commonwealth and from places like Omaha, the campus colony, and from what we've heard about the CRM itself. And these places, like the one that Silas is in right now, is like supposed to be like mass culling places where they attract as many walkers as they can, blow them up and destroy them as much as they can, and then let these teenagers go around killing the ones who are still moving, then getting all of them and I guess taking them to some dumping place. Although it was funny when one of the characters joked about them taking them to the Cayman Islands, because I genuinely believed that for a second there. I genuinely believed that they were taking the walkers to the Cayman Islands, and I was like, damn, the CRM has fucking this kind of I was like, damn, the CRM has that much power and infrastructure to be able to take all these rotting corpses and pieces of rotten flesh to the fucking Cayman Islands? But no, it was just a joke. They just take them off-site. Although it would be really funny if it was actually the Cayman Islands. But that would mean that the CRM would probably have the ability to probably even go to Europe, maybe. And I'm still under a suspicion that the Civic Republic might be set in the UK. And it even would make sense, it would make it more more easy for Andrew Lincoln to shoot the movie, because they would be shooting it in the UK for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. It could be interesting at least. At the very least, I hope that Tales of the Walking Dead covers the rest of the world, because at this point, we've pretty much covered everything we possibly could in the USA. Give us something a little different. So yeah, Silas ends up befriending these teens, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. It ends with the reveal that this guy who is in charge of these teenagers is Hug's boyfriend. So yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a more interesting episode overall. It gave us more important information about the CRM and what they're trying to do, and everything. Gave some more I wouldn't say development, but it showed us more what's happening with our characters. But it definitely seems like, again, this first half of the season is gonna be mostly setup, while the second half is gonna be payoff, like it was for the first season. Because for those of you who haven't watched the first season, I think the first season was kind of slow and boring and bad for the most part. But once we passed like episode 5, like episode 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 were actually really good episodes. Like, anybody who dropped in the first few episodes, I think, should have sucked, because those first episodes were mostly setup, yes, but afterwards it actually got pretty good. Although so far I still not gotten what exactly I wanted to see from the second season. I've been mostly excited to get to Elton and Percy, because they are pretty much my favorite characters of this show, so I'm really excited to see that. Although the characters of Leo, Hope's father, is really growing on me this season, and also Will as well. At first I was like, I don't really care about this guy, we just got introduced to him, even though we maybe had a couple of scenes with him. But now I'm actually really interested in these two characters, actually characters I kind of care about. And also certain scenes that I forgot to mention that I really liked from last episode was once Felix and Will were able to be alone in their bedroom, because there are a couple, for those of you who didn't realize that or don't remember that. I really liked how Felix ended up crying and breaking down. Like, it's always so satisfying to me whenever these tough guys or old people end up crying, because you know that when somebody like that ends up crying, it's something that is really worth crying over. So that's why it makes you feel really sad as well. And that scene was really emotional for me as well. I really liked the way he broke down, because he wasn't able to, he didn't have time to like sit down and kind of comprehend everything that was happening. And that was finally a time where he felt safe enough to kind of break down, and I really like that scene. So yeah, I believe I rated last episode 7.1 out of 10, and I still stick by that statement. Maybe it's a little bit higher than most people, but I don't think this show is actually that bad. It's just very fucking slow. For this episode, I think I'm actually gonna give it, and I know that might be a little bit of a higher rating, but again, keep in mind, I'm kind of rating it in the sense of its own show. I'm not rating it in comparison to The Walking Dead. I'm just rating it to what have gotten from this show so far. So in terms of the rating, I'm gonna give this one an 8.2 out of 10. I think it was a really good episode for this show especially, but in general I think it was a solid episode. But it still had some issues here and there. but it was fine. It was pretty good. I'm now expecting that it's gonna get better and better from here on out, because next episode is gonna be focusing on Nelton and Percy, my favorite characters. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. And I'm gonna try not to take as long from the release of the episode to the review for those episodes, but we'll see. Most likely I won't, because I think I'm gonna be in a good mood, because we're gonna be into the first few episodes of Fear the Walking Dead 7th season, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, before we end this video though, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently one and only patron on Patreon, Omari Bridgman. If you want to join that person in supporting me, you can do that by going down in the description below and clicking to the link to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account, because for those of you who don't know, Ko-fi is a website that is very similar to Patreon, in which you can support your favorite creators. But the main difference between the two being is that for Patreon, it's more for like long-term support and subscribing for specific perks, while for Ko-fi, it's more of like just a donation place where you can donate to me as a way to support me. And you don't really get any benefits other than a shout out on the channel, but maybe we could change that if I get a couple of people supporting me on that website, if it's easier for them to go there than Patreon. But yeah, it's gonna be completely up to you. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon where I can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!